What would you do if your pet saved your life in the most unexpected way? Lily's story proves that true friendship knows no bounds. Have you ever had a pet that showed incredible loyalty? Share your experience in the comments below. Also, let us know where you're watching from. It's always amazing to see our stories reach people from all over the world. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because tomorrow, we have another incredible story you won't want to miss. See you in the next one. She was buried alive, and her cat was the only one who knew. Lily Thompson was a girl full of joy, curiosity, and endless energy. At just 6 years old, she had a heart as big as the sky and a love for adventure that made every day exciting. Growing up in a warm and loving home, she spent most of her time playing in the backyard, exploring the world around her, and dreaming about all the wonderful things she would do when she got older. On the morning of her 6th birthday, Lily woke up filled with excitement. The house smelled of her favorite pancakes, and balloons decorated the living room. Her parents had planned a small birthday celebration, and she couldn't wait to see what surprises were in store. But nothing could have prepared her for the most unexpected and special gift she was about to receive. As she sat in front of her birthday cake, ready to blow out the candles, her father stepped forward, holding a small box with tiny air holes. Lily's eyes widened with curiosity. "Open it, sweetheart," her father said with a warm smile. Carefully, she lifted the lid, and inside was the tiniest, fluffiest kitten she had ever seen. Its fur was soft and golden, and its big blue eyes stared up at her with innocence and wonder. Lily gasped. "A kitten," she squealed, clapping her hands together. Her father chuckled. "His name is up to you, but I thought you might like a little friend." Lily reached into the box, gently picking up the tiny kitten and holding him close. The kitten let out a soft, sleepy meow, curling up in her arms. At that moment, Lily knew she had found her best friend. "I'll call him Buddy," she announced proudly. From that day forward, Lily and Buddy were inseparable. She carried him wherever she went, even dressing him up in tiny doll clothes and letting him nap beside her in bed. Buddy quickly adjusted to his new home, following Lily around the house, playing in the backyard, and watching her with curious eyes as she read books out loud. Every time she saw Buddy chasing butterflies in the yard or pouncing on fallen leaves, her heart swelled with happiness. Their bond was something special, a friendship filled with trust, love, and endless adventures. Neither of them knew it yet, but one day, Buddy would do something extraordinary, something that would prove just how deep their bond truly was. As the weeks passed, Lily and Buddy became inseparable. From the moment she woke up in the morning until bedtime, her little golden-furred kitten was always by her side. Whether she was playing in the backyard, reading storybooks, or exploring the world around her, Buddy followed along, his tiny paws never far behind. Lily's backyard was her favorite place in the world. It was filled with tall trees, bright flowers, and hidden corners perfect for adventure. She would spend hours outside, letting her imagination run wild. Some days, she was a fearless explorer, discovering new lands with Buddy as her loyal companion. Other times, she pretended they were pirates, searching for hidden treasure beneath the bushes. Buddy, of course, played along, chasing after leaves as if they were buried gold. But no matter how much fun Lily had, there was always one thing missing: her dad. Lily's father was a long-haul truck driver, and his job often took him far from home. Sometimes, he would be gone for days or even weeks, traveling across different states. Lily missed him terribly. The house always felt a little quieter without him there. But no matter how long he was gone, he always returned with exciting gifts and incredible stories. "Guess what I saw this time, kiddo?" he would ask as he pulled her into a hug. Lily's eyes would light up. A tiger? A spaceship? A secret hidden city? Her father laughed. "Close. I drove through a town where people race lawnmowers. Can you believe that?" Lily giggled, hanging on to every word. She loved hearing about the places he had been, imagining what it would be like to ride in his truck and see the world through his eyes. While he was away, Buddy became her comfort, curling up beside her at night when she felt lonely. She would whisper her biggest dreams and little worries to him, and though he couldn't speak, she always felt like he understood. She didn't know it yet, but Buddy was more than just a pet. He was watching over her, always there when she needed him most. And soon, Lily would face a moment where she needed him more than ever. It was a warm afternoon, and Lily was playing in the backyard, as she always did. The sun filtered through the trees, casting dappled light across the grass. Buddy was nearby, chasing a butterfly, his tiny paws swiping at the air. Lily laughed, spinning in circles with her arms wide open, feeling the breeze rush past her. But then, something felt wrong. Suddenly, her breath caught in her throat. She stopped mid-spin, her small hands clutching at her chest. A sharp, invisible force tightened around her lungs. She tried to breathe, but nothing came. Her vision blurred. The world around her spun. Her body collapsed to the ground. She gasped for air, but no air came. Panic set in as she clawed at her throat, her little body trembling. The laughter was gone. The warmth of the sun no longer mattered. Inside the house, her mother heard the faint sound of something falling. At first, she thought it was just Lily playing. But when no giggle followed, her heart dropped. Then she heard it, Buddy's frantic meows. The kitten wasn't playing anymore. He darted toward Lily's side, circling her small frame, his tiny voice crying out in distress. He sensed something was terribly wrong. By the time Lily's mother rushed outside, she saw her daughter lying in the grass, her face pale, her lips turning blue. A scream tore from her throat. "Lily!" Her father had just arrived home from a long trip. Dropping his bags, he sprinted toward them. Without hesitation, he scooped Lily up in his arms and raced to the car, his heart pounding harder than it ever had before. Buddy tried to follow, his tiny legs running as fast as they could, but the car sped away, kicking up dust in its wake. The kitten sat frozen on the porch, his tail flicking anxiously. Something was wrong. He didn't understand what, but he knew Lily needed him. At the hospital, the doctors worked desperately. Machines beeped. Voices called out orders. But no matter what they did, Lily didn't wake up. And then, the words no parent should ever hear came. "I'm so sorry, we did everything we could." The world shattered. Buddy, sitting alone at home, let out a soft meow, his little ears twitching. He didn't know why, but deep inside, he refused to believe it was true. The funeral was arranged quickly. Lily's parents, still in complete shock, could barely process what had happened. One moment, she was laughing in the backyard, and the next, she was gone. It didn't feel real. It didn't feel possible. The small church was filled with friends and family, their faces etched with sorrow. Lily's mother clutched a handkerchief, her body trembling with silent sobs. Her father, a man who had always been strong, stared blankly ahead, his hands clenched into fists. Their little girl, gone forever. But Buddy refused to believe it. He had followed them. No one knew how he got there, but as the service began, the small golden kitten slipped through the open doors of the church. He padded down the aisle, weaving between rows of mourners, unnoticed until he jumped onto the coffin. Gasps filled the room. "Get him down," someone whispered. Lily's father moved forward, ready to pull the kitten away, but Buddy wouldn't leave. He let out a tiny, desperate meow and began tugging at the fabric covering the coffin. His small paws scratched at the wood. His ears twitched. His tail flicked. Something was wrong. Lily's mother let out a sob, but Buddy kept trying, pawing, nudging, meowing louder and louder. And then, a miracle happened. A sound. A soft cough from inside the coffin. At first, no one moved. No one dared to believe it. But then, the sound came again, a gasping breath, followed by a faint whimper. Lily's father's heart stopped. He rushed forward and threw open the lid of the coffin. And there she was. Lily. Her eyes fluttered open, her little body shaking as she gasped for air. Confusion filled her face as she looked up at the people staring down at her in stunned silence. Buddy jumped back, his fur standing on end. He had done it. The doctors had been wrong. Lily had never died. She had been in a deep coma, her heartbeat too faint for them to detect. They had almost buried her alive. Her parents broke down, sobbing with relief. But Buddy? He just curled up next to her, purring softly. He had known all along. And he had saved her. The room was frozen in shock. No one moved. No one spoke. All eyes were locked on Lily, sitting up inside the coffin, her small chest rising and falling as she tried to catch her breath. Then, all at once, chaos erupted. Her mother screamed, this time, not in grief, but in pure, overwhelming relief. Tears streamed down her face as she rushed forward, pulling Lily into her arms, holding her as if she'd never let go again. Her father, normally a man of few emotions, fell to his knees beside them, unable to speak, his hands trembling as he touched his daughter's face. She was warm. She was breathing. She was alive. The stunned murmurs of the guests turned into gasps, cries, and even panicked shouts. Someone called for the doctors. The priest, who had just been reading the final words of the service, staggered back, clutching his chest in disbelief. And in the middle of it all, Buddy sat proudly, his tail flicking, his big golden eyes calm, as if he had known this was going to happen all along. The doctors arrived within minutes, their faces pale with confusion and embarrassment. They checked Lily's pulse, her breathing, everything, and all they could do was apologize. We don't know how this happened," one of them stammered. "She must have fallen into a deep coma. Her vitals must have been too faint to detect." Lily, still groggy, blinked at everyone gathered around her. Her voice was hoarse when she finally spoke. "Why is everyone crying?" Her mother let out a watery laugh, stroking Lily's hair. "Because, sweetheart, we thought we lost you." Lily frowned, looking down at Buddy, who was now curled up in her lap, purring softly. She gently ran her fingers through his fur and whispered, "I think Buddy saved me." The realization hit everyone at once. It was Buddy. The tiny kitten, the one who had refused to leave her side, the one who had fought to wake her when everyone else had given up. He had sensed what no one else could. From that moment on, Lily and Buddy were inseparable in a way no one could ever explain. Their story spread like wildfire, a miracle, a mistake, and the unbreakable bond between a girl and her cat. Lily knew one thing for sure: Buddy wasn't just a pet. He was her guardian, her best friend, and the reason she was alive. What would you do if your pet saved your life in the most unbelievable way? Lily's story is proof that the bond between a pet and their owner is more powerful than we can imagine. Have you ever had a pet that showed incredible loyalty or did something extraordinary for you? We'd love to hear your stories in the comments. Do you believe that animals have a special instinct when it comes to sensing danger? Buddy knew something was wrong when no one else did. Do you think pets can feel things that humans can't? Share your thoughts below. Also, let us know where you're watching from. It's always amazing to see how far our stories reach. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because tomorrow, we have another incredible true story that you won't want to miss. See you in the next one.